This is James with Dadlore 343. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite sidearms, the Glock 19. Let's get into it. But first, if you get this reference, we can be friends. Glock 19. Knife. Tourniquet. Pocket flashlight. 2 extra mags. If y'all understood that reference, you're a real one. It was a badly copied version of the locker room scene of End of Watch. If you guys have ever seen that movie, that's a fantastic movie. I would highly recommend that you go check it out whenever you get a chance. But today we're going to be talking about my Glock 19. This is my stock Glock 19 that I bought back actually September 11, 2018. I was going back looking at old photos today about it. I just want to get into the reasons why I chose Glock 19, one of the most ubiquitous handguns in the entire world. It's honestly probably the most common handgun. This is a Gen 4, not a Gen 3. And if you may notice, it's in this gray Cerakote. I bought it like this. I did not pay any extra for that. That's just how I bought it. But so let's get into it. My story, why I chose a Glock 19, is pretty much at the time I had bought my first AR-15. I bought that in 2018 when I graduated college. So fast forward a little bit, that summer goes by and I'm working at a police station doing personal training for the police and the firefighters of the college town that I was in, doing their personal training and things like that. And all of them carried Glocks. I don't know if they were 17s or 19s, I'm not exactly sure. But basically I would talk to some of the more squared away guys about, they were suggested for a handgun because I didn't have a handgun yet. I knew that I wanted one. I had just turned 22 at the time. I had bought my first AR-15 when I was 21. As soon as I could legally get one shipped to an FFL. After I graduated college, obviously I had a little bit of money, so that's why I got my first AR. But then I needed a sidearm, obviously something I could everyday carry, and that's where the Glock 19 comes in. Basically at the time, but I was working, like I said, with police and firefighters at the time. They, everybody carried a Glock, even there were firefighters. Some of the guys came in. I specifically remember one guy who's a pretty squared away individual. He would come into the gym and he would carry a Glock 43X and then he'd pull it out, when he got to the gym, put it in his little gym bag, but he was always carrying because he was a prepared, squared away guy. And so I talked to everybody, I was like, hey man, what's your opinion on weapons? What should I get? I'm interested in getting my first weapon. Everybody's Glock, 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 Glock. So, obviously I wanted to get a Glock, So, but at the time, really this was before, Gen 5 had just come out at the time. There was not, so Gen 3 had been out a long time, obviously. This is 2018. Gen 4 were, they were popping up used, they'd been around for a while. I don't know exactly when Gen 4 came out, but they'd been around a while, basically. And so in my mind, my choices were either a 43. There was no 43X back then, mind you. I know that 43X is basically the hotness nowadays, that everybody loves the 43X. I like the 43X as well. If I wasn't so embedded in the Glock 19, 17, 26 family, like you'll see later on in the video, then I would probably own a 43X, and I'd probably EDC a 43X, but I'm very embedded in this family of weapons, so that's why I don't currently own a 43X, and I prefer my 19, 26, 17 style weapons, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But so basically, I talked to all the guys. They were like, Glock, Glock, Glock. I was between a 43. My choices are basically a 43, a 19, and a 26. I did not want a 17. I wanted to conceal carry. I didn't think I could conceal carry a 17, so I basically, wanted to get something that was considered a compact gun pretty much. So that's why I decided to go with, and basically at the time, like I said, the choices were 19, 26, or 43. I just thought the 26 was ugly at the time. I didn't know much about it. I just thought it was like this chunky looking, just ugly little gun to me. Just did not like the look of it. So I crossed that one out. So basically it was between 43 and 19. But at the time of 43 stock, they only held 6 rounds. I think you could get a upgraded magazine flush fit to hold 7 rounds, and you could of course get like little extensions and stuff to hold like 9, 10 rounds, whatever it may be. But a lot of people were saying, oh, that's a backup, or that's a woman's gun, or something like that. So, and basically at the time I didn't have a ton of money. I was, you know, young, and I mean, this is 7 years ago, but I was new to firearms. Obviously I didn't have a lot of money, so I was going to get one handgun. I wanted one handgun for concealed carry, one handgun for, you know, duty use, or whatever you want to call it. So basically, yeah, and then I decided on the Glock 19. One of my buddies actually let me shoot his Glock 19 one time, and I loved it, so I fell in love. I decided that, you know, I'm going to get a Glock 19, so that's pretty much it. And actually, one day, my other buddy that helped get me, or he didn't get me into ARs, but after I bought my first AR, he gave me like some magazines and a little bit of ammo, I think like some cleaning oil or something like that. Basically, he helped me out. Shout out Alex, you know who you are. But so he gave me those items, and then one day he was like, "Oh man, you want to go with me to the gun store?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. You know, let's pull up there." So we go to the gun store, and he buys a nice looking CZ75. I'll see if I can link a picture above of his CZ75, or it was a CZ75 compact, I believe, with some cool looking grips on it. He bought that gun, but at the same time in the gun store, I saw this thing, gray Glock 19, Gen 4. And I immediately thought to myself, I was like, I have to have that thing. Apparently it was used, I think the CZ75 and this gun had come from the same collector. I think the older gentleman died, and his wife came in and sold some of his firearms, and both of them were used, but I don't think they had ever been shot. That's what the people told me at the store about this thing, that, you know, it had never been shot. I'll try to link some pictures of this above as well when I first got it, because yeah, it does not look like what it looked like back in the day. As you can see, I've got all sorts of wear and tear on this because I have used the crap out of this thing over the past 7 years. This has been my main concealed carry for a very long time. I actually recently just switched it to a 26, and soon it'll be switching to a 26X once my 26X frame comes in from the Glock store. But we'll do a later video on that. But basically, this was my bread and butter for a long time. My concealed carry, I used it all the time, and then I used this as my competition gun, my training gun. This was my everything right here. This was my only weapon, and I love this thing. This is still one of my favorite guns. If I had to pick, basically, if something were to hit the fan, you know, it's the big hot dog eating contest kicks off, the big hullabaloo or whatever. And, you know, Chinese paratroopers start dropping from the sky or whatever, I have to pick a sidearm to take with me. It would be this, but a little bit different. Unfortunately, I would take this, but I would use the barrel from this weapon. I would use the striker and the plunger and the extractor from this weapon. I would put them in. I actually have a Palmetto State dagger, but the main reason I have this is because it's got this RMR cut on it, and I would use basically all the internals from this Glock on this frame. So the only thing Palmetto State would be the frame with this red dot on there. So if something were to happen, that would be my go-to gun. And actually, I'm going to use that setup in a night vision shooting contest that I plan on doing mid-December. It's I think end of November now, November 23rd, I want to say right now. Not 100% sure, but so that's my plan, is to use basically this lower with that upper, these internals in it, with that dagger upper, or that dagger slide, and the Hollow Sun 507C on there, or whatever it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll get into that whole specific setup later. It's not the purpose of this video, but this is, for all intents and purposes, this is a stock Glock 19. This is how I carried it for a long time. At one point, after one of my competitions, I had done exceptionally bad with the iron sights. Somebody suggested to me to get a set of Trichicon iron sights, or True Glows, with like a red dot on the front of them. I'll show you guys those. Actually, they're currently on my carry, my 26X. You see that little red dot right there. Some tall iron sights right there in the back. So this is how I used and carried, or I used my Glock 19 with these iron sights for a very long time as my carry, exactly like this stock Glock 19. A lot of people that asked me if I paid to have this Cerakoted. No, I did not pay to have this Cerakoted. It just came like this. I saw this and I immediately knew that I had to have it, and I love it. I mean, I have never had any issues with it. I've shot thousands and thousands of rounds through it. On top of that, I watched a lot of Law and Order SVU growing up. and they used either Glock 17s or Glock 19s in Law and Order SVU. I mean, I think it is a fantastic pistol. And also another reason why it's good to like be proficient with a Glock 19, from my understanding, I think a Glock 19 is one of the most common pistols on earth, if not the most common. And probably the most common rifle on earth is probably an AKM or some sort of AK variant is probably the most common rifle on earth. Like, this is a barrel, you know, it's not totally an AK, but you know, you get the picture, it's an AK variant. But we'll go over this in a later video as well. But yeah, so I love the Glock 19. Like I said, if I had to pick one handgun to, you know, take with me forever, it would be the Glock 19, it would be this. But sadly, this is getting a little long in the tooth. I do like the color on it. I want to try to preserve it for, you know, future generations of mine. Another thing I really like about this gun is that, I don't know if you guys will be able to tell or not. Yeah, there's a little Georgia symbol there. I'm from Georgia. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that. There's another one right there and another one right there on the frame. So I really like that. And I'm rocking a TLR 7A Streamlight on here. I think it's 500 lumens. It's pretty good. There's a little bit to be desired from it. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I love the Glock 19. I cannot say enough about it. I mean, I think it is one of the best handguns in the world, if not the best handgun in the world. We can all talk about that. I mean, I'm sure that other people have opinions, but just for all around concealed carry, usability, everything, Glock 19 all day. Now, that being said, like I said, this is getting a little long in the tooth, and I am probably looking to retire this soon. I mean, it may be my home defense gun or something like that, but I'm not going to be shooting it all the time in competitions and using it on the range and concealed carrying all the time. So actually, it's being replaced by, I'll show you two other handguns that I have. So my Glock 26 that you guys saw earlier, this is my concealed carry right now. This is what I carry every day. The things I don't like about it, there's no rail for a light on there, and it is a little bit stubby. I've got a Magpul 12-round mag in there. I like Magpul mags personally. I know a lot of people do not like Magpul mags. They have their own opinions on there. I'm sure that you can, if you've got an opinion on Magpul mags, just let me know. Tell me I'm an idiot for carrying it or whatever. But personally, I like it. I like the little pinky extender on there. I know I should just get a, whatever, like a 2-round extension for the stock factory Glock mag. I just haven't gotten around to it. This was at the local gun store. I picked it up. I've been carrying it. I don't think I've had a failure with this particular mag yet. Seems pretty decent. But like I said, my plan is to get a 26X frame. I have that on order from Glock store. So I will be getting a 26X frame and pretty much carrying it with this slide, these internals from this one, or I'll buy another set of Glock OEM internals. And yeah, basically I'll have that 26X frame. I'll be carrying it with a TLR 7 sub light. And one thing about that too, the TLR 7 sub sticks out a little bit, and you'll notice that this one does not. It sits flush with the rail. I kind of want it to stick out some because I've listened to a podcast, the CBRN podcast. The guy was in a self-defense shooting. He unfortunately had to unload a magazine of his Glock 19 into a gentleman that was trying to kill him or stab him with a knife. I think he was trying to rape and kill his date or something like that. I'd have to go back and listen to it. But basically the guy said that you should consider carrying a light that sticks out a little bit from your gun, because apparently the guy was on top of him and he was pressing his weapon. I'm just going to show you that it's clear. You know, there's nothing in there, nothing in the mag before I basically pull this trigger on my hand. But the guy, well, I mean, I'm going to pull the trigger. It's not going to do anything, because even if there was something in there, because it's out of battery. But basically the guy said that the gentleman was on top of him and he's trying to pull his trigger, and he's getting a dead trigger. So the guy's on top of him. So he said if you have a light that sticks out a little bit, you're going to create a little bit of space there. And then you won't, somebody that's on top of you, if you ever, God forbid, be in a horrific situation like that, you can make a little bit of space there and not have your gun be out of battery when you go to pull the trigger and be on a dead trigger. So I'm sure that's extremely scary to be in a self-defense situation and have a dead trigger like that. So basically, yeah, having a little bit of an extension. So that's my thought with the 26X. Have that stick out a little bit. Yes, I could get an X300 for that or a TLR1, but I'm not going to. We'll get into that in a second. So that's my concealed carry, or my new concealed carry is going to be a 26X. This is my current concealed carry. This is my little 150 lumen stream light that I carry with it. It is not optimal in any way whatsoever to carry like this, but it sure as hell is better than nothing. Yeah, just FYI. But my plan is to correct this soon to get a better concealed carry. So basically this is replacing my Glock 19 for my concealed carry. And this weapon is going to replace my Glock 19 for my competition and duty weapon, which I'm a civilian. I don't have duty weapons. But the plan with this is Slovakian police trade-in Glock 17. Very similar to a Glock 19. My plan is to get an RMR cut on here to mount this specific optic, because I would like to retire this dagger too. It's not that I don't like it, it's just I don't know. I don't trust Palmetto State as much. I've seen some QC issues with it, and this I haven't had any issues with it. I have had some failures where like the slide will just lock back. Not like that, but it will lock back, and I have to rack it, like basically just pull back on that to force the slide to go forward. Another issue that I've had with it, let me see if I can recreate it. I don't know if I'm just not doing it correctly, but yeah, see, look, this is getting stuck on the frame like that. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what, but I cannot get that off. If I do want to get it off, I can hit it in just like a perfect way to get it off sometimes, but it's just not worth it. I just really don't trust this thing as much. My only surefire way to pull this slide from this upper is to pull out the striker in the back. So basically pop that out, push down on there, pop the back plate off, pull out the striker, and then I can let it go forward. So I have this dagger. I bought it a while ago, like when daggers first came out. It's been okay for me. I just don't really trust it. I don't know if I'll sell it. I may just keep it around for spare parts or something. I don't know what we'll do with this, but yeah, I mean, I would just rather go with a traditional Glock. But like I said, this Slovakian police trade-in 17, I'm going to get an RMR cut on this and get an X300 or a TLR1 to be my duty weapon for shooting competitions and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much right now. I've got this little TLR7 on there. And basically this is my home defense setup for right now. I've got a rifle too under the bed, but this is if something goes bump in the night, I'm not really that worried about. This is my initial weapon that I grabbed. So yeah, basically, but it's taking two different weapons to replace one Glock 19. The only reason I'm replacing it is because I love this gun. This gun has a lot of sentimental value to me now. I've had it just a very long time. I don't want to be carrying it all the time. I don't want to be scratching it up, making it worse than it is. I mean, you can see that I put it through its paces, but I really do think that this is a fantastic weapon. The only reason I did not pick a Glock 19 up, or the reason I got a 17, is because honestly, I bought that 17 when the news dropped of Glock discontinuing all their models. I had on my goals list that I wanted to either get, I think, another Glock 19, which would have been great to just have another Glock 19, a Glock 45, a Glock 17, or a Glock 34. And this is before all the Glock 47 hype. I didn't even know what a Glock 47 was, to be 100% honest. I'm still not 100% sure about the Glock 47 hype, so if you have an opinion on that, please let me know. I'm uneducated. To me, it just seems like a Glock 17. Just let me know. But basically, so I went on AIM Surplus. All the Glock 19s were sold out. I think they had some for like a little bit more expensive. But I knew that, they had a Glock 17. And this was a Croatian police trade-in. It was a good price. I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. And after I bought it, the next day, they were all out of stock. So I think it was a good buy. I'm glad that I bought it because I just wanted to have another either full size or 19 size or I guess whatever hybrid size, like a 45, a Glock 45, not a 45 caliber Glock, but an actual Glock 45 model, something like that. But yes, like I said, the plan for this is to get a big X300 on here or TLR1 and RMR cut this upper slide. But yeah, but in my opinion, Glock 19, best all around. I mean, one of the best all around guns out there. It's hard to beat. They're ubiquitous. They're all over. I think you should train with one. I think you should get proficient with them. I'm going to put in a video right now of me using one in competition.
Stand by.
I'm going to put in a video right now of me using one in competition. This was at my most recent competition, which actually back in June, unfortunately, which is a super long time ago, but just with life, my wife being pregnant, my new son, everything like that, life just gets to you. So yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get out and shoot nearly as much as I can or do as many competitions as I'd like to. But yeah, I'll go ahead and stick in that video, you guys have already seen that video of me shooting this Glock 19, the RSO. He was actually impressed after I shot it. Now, granted, this was with the Trichicon sights that are on my 26 now. This is back to stock iron sights, so this is basically how I got the gun back in 2018, just with a TLR 7.8 on the bottom. So, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's my opinion on the Glock 19. I think it is a fantastic weapon. This one has done me so well. I cannot recommend them enough. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments below, just let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and God bless.